I've always, it's so funny, since I was 25, I always had jobs that were commission based only. I was in sales. I started out in photographic sales. So my background was I sold paper and chemistry to back then what was the 1 hour photo lab surged back in the 80s, right? Remember them? You walk into the mall and you see these pictures rolling off of these machines, and everybody's standing there watching everybody's life right out in open. So I was in that industry. It took off pretty quickly. I was very successful in that industry. Did a lot of traveling and worked for a big corporation, which was Bayer Corporation. Actually owned a company, a division of Bayer. It's imaging technology. It's AGFA. AGFA is still around as a black and white X-ray films that most hospitals use. I mean, they're just the best films. They would be what Kodak was in the United States back then. They would be that in Europe. AGFA. So I was in that industry for a long time, and it was riding a real good high. It was just great to be in. It was fun, and then digital imaging rolls across, right? So no longer were people taking 36 exposure rolls of film and dropping off 3 or 4 of them at the your lab to get processed. Now people are taking 36 shots of one kid on a new toy, and you didn't process them. So that industry just kind of went, it just away. I mean, Kodak's not even here anymore. It's sad for Rochester, but at the end of the day, now everybody's a professional, right? So I jumped into bricks after that, and the reason I did that transition is because if you look at photography, it was like you work with people in the lab. They developed the images, but the people behind the camera, they had the vision, and what they saw, they wanted to keep, and it was perpetual to them. People, your house burns down, they want to take their photographs with them. That was one of the things that people, if they in a tornado or sudden loss, I've lost my photos. You can't get them back. That was the big deal. So when I went to looking what I wanted to do next, and it really was methodical. I called a brick company, and I was trying to get a job selling bricks. And I told the guy on the phone what I wanted to do, and he brought me in for an interview. And I drove down to Boone County, Kentucky, and I sat for about an hour and a half, and I told this guy, Mike Collins, why I wanted to sell bricks and what I could do for his company and my vision and stuff. And he sat there, and we had a really great, engaging conversation. And then he's like, Sean, okay, great, it's nice to meet you. I've got to run. I'm like, wait, what about the job? He goes, oh, I don't have any availabilities. He goes, I just had to meet the person, the woman who's going to call me on the phone saying she wants to come sell bricks and has no idea how. He's like, I just wanted to meet you. I'm like, you're freaking kidding me, right? And so he's like, I have nothing for you. I actually called him for 3 months, like every week, Mike, got anything for me? Anything for me? Nothing. And then finally, I said, look, let me come work for you and do what I want to do, and you don't pay me unless I sell something. He had other salesmen. I said, give me the customers that don't buy from you. Give me the customers that you lost over a bad situation. Give me your customers that go to your competitor. I won't take anybody else's clients. And he's like, can't lose. So went to work for him. Worked for him about a year. Made no money. But I had fun. It was building relationships, right? Well, the number one competitor in this market, a guy named Jim Stradley, was very successful. I lost everything to him, on and on, because this is commercial brick sales. He called me one day and he said, hey, come to my office and talk to me. And I was always hoping, like on some of these big presentations, that he would be sick that day. I mean, I just couldn't beat him. And I go to his office, and he says, look, you're not making any money. You're making me work harder. I'm playing less golf. Why don't you come work for me? You'll make more money. I'll play more golf. It's going to be a win-win. And I'm like, okay. I did. And I did that for 5 years and had a lot of fun. Was very successful. It was, I can go up and down the streets, and I point out buildings that I was involved with. And then what happened was the recession. And again, gone. Pretty much, So I was laid off and sitting around, figuring out what's my next move, because I wanted to do things that I'm having fun with, and it's worthwhile for me to get up and go do. And I want to pay my bills. I wasn't looking to become a millionaire. That's not the goal here for me in my life. And my life is to be happy and be good when I get up in the morning and look forward to my drive or what I'm doing, and then look forward to being able to get home at a reasonable time, right? So we have a dog, Jackson, and had a lot of problems over the years, and just nothing was working, and it was frustrating because we spent a lot of money on trying to get him healthy, and like I said, nothing ever was working. And I just told Amanda, it just came to me, I'm going to develop something. I'm going to work on something that's going to help Jackson. And then, there's a story about going to the store, me buying these foods that, noticing that they're old, but that's the facts. The facts are is that, we just recognized that there was a need in our family. We're spending a lot of money on things that weren't working. How can I change that? Can I make it work for something that we can make our living off of? And that's how we became involved with the Pet Ones.